Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a really fun theme team in the Great League, the Triple Spider theme team. This team features Galvantula on the lead, Ariados as the save switch, and the new addition to Pokemon Go, ARAQUANID as the closer. This is not a team I'd recommend for climbing, mainly just because it does have a ton of shared weaknesses, but I did have some really fun games with the team. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the Triple Spider theme team in action in the Great League. Hopping to the first match, leading Galvantula into Registeel. Registeel is a definite problem spot for this team, but if I'm going to see it anywhere, I definitely do want to see it on the lead. Galvantula is of course going to resist all of Registeel's standard moveset, and going to be able to outpace it as well. Lands the discharge, and Registeel is firing back. Galv should be able to tank whatever they throw. They go for the Zap Cannon, which will of course lower my attack. That is a little unfortunate because that means discharge plus farm is not going to KO. So I'm going to land it, save switch into Ariados, but I just get outpaced by the Registeel. Zap Cannon would hurt, so I do commit the shield, and my opponent counterswaps into a Shadow Swampert. Even though I'm debuffed, this is not a bad spot to be in whatsoever. Ariados is extremely spammy, and even despite the debuff, those lunges are going to hit quite hard. Able to reach the second lunge, and we're able to grab a shield from the Swampert. This ends up being a CMP tie on the Hydro Cannon. They are going to be able to outpace me to the second, but I'm not willing to commit the final shield. I'm just going to let this go down, and instead, I'm going to go for a very aggressive farm down with ARAQUANID. In comes ARAQUANID. If they're running Earthquake Hydro Cannon, which I'm guessing they are, we should resist everything. They go for the catch on Registeel. We hold on to our energy, and we're able to farm them down. That is absolutely massive. So they fail the catch, back in comes Swampert. Even if they do have Sludge Wave, I do survive it. They don't, it's Earthquake, and I'm going for the farm down. ARAQUANID absolutely loaded, and it's their own ARAQUANID in the back. We have an absolutely massive energy lead, and we still have the very low health Galvantula. Able to reach a second Bug Buzz. Are they willing to commit that final shield? They are not. In comes Galvantula. And at this point, this game is over. They go for the Bug Buzz to take out Galvantula. We Bug Bite down. And that is a good game. Picking up a pretty nice lead in the next match, Galvantula into Defense Deoxys, and even better, they are staying in. Galv goes for the lunge, but a very nice catch by my opponent, catching it onto their Galarian Stunfisk. Now this Pokemon is a massive issue for this entire team, as in the one shield, it beats all of my Pokemon. So my only hope is to stay in here, commit a shield, debuff them again, and then bring in my best response, which is going to be ARAQUANID. So we do go for the lunge, and now it is ARAQUANID time. ARAQUANID is insanely tanky, so we should be able to tank these double debuffed Rock Slides no problem. As you can see, that is not doing a whole lot of damage, and I'm going to start spamming out the Bubble Beams. Bubble Beam, not a particularly high damage attack, but I will take all the damage I can get, but their switch timer comes up, and they bring in their own ARAQUANID. This is not a great spot for me to be in, because that G-Fisk is still alive in the back. I go for the Bug Buzz, it connects, and they throw their energy. I'm just gonna let this through. If they Bug Buzz me, they Bug Buzz me. They do. I'm barely able to survive, and I bring back in Galvantula. Galvantula, not quite able to farm down, but I think this is only a Bubble Beam, so I am gonna call it. It is a Bubble Beam, able to hang on and farm down. That is massive. They are gonna bring back in the G-Fisk to absorb that damage. Very nice play there by my opponent. Going for the lunge, we get the shield, and it's a CMP tie. This is a very tough decision. I am going to let it go. I do have the Ariados as well as a potential sack swap with the ARAQUANID. I bring in Ariados, and back in comes Deoxys. Deoxys can, of course, hit for super effective damage with a Psycho Boost, so that is something I have to be mindful of. Lunge is able to land, and now they're debuffed. This is a tough call to make. I shield, and they bait with the Thunderbolt, and that is a really bad sign, as now this is going to be the Psycho Boost. That does big damage, and I'm going to have to try and make a play here. Farming up, goes for the catch, and able to catch the Psycho Boost onto my ARAQUANID. So they are now at -4 attack. I bring back in Ariados, trying to farm down, not able to get there, and they reach a move. At -4, can I live the Psycho Boost? I barely do. I throw the lunge, and in comes the Stunfisk. Lunge does get the shield, but the Mud Shot KOs, and we lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the next match, leading Galvantula into Trevenant. This is a pretty nice mon to see as my entire team has a lot of play against it. I'm going to stay in with Galvantula, I'm able to outpace and reach the lunge. Lunge will not KO, but it will do a nice chunk of damage. I save switch into Ariados and I bait out Shadow Nidoqueen. Despite the type disadvantage, this is honestly not a bad spot to be the Ariados. Lunge is going to do a lot of damage and of course get that ever important attack drop. Nidoqueen going to be firing off the Earth Power. That is not enough to KO, and I'm able to reach another lunge. This is going to start to get that Nidoqueen pretty low. They are now 2 stages debuffed. Nidoqueen not getting the farm down as we're able to reach lunge number 3. This will come very close to KOing. Lunge barely does not, and it's a simultaneous KO. I'm hoping that there's a wall rain in the back, because if so, Araquanid should have a ton of play. I bring in Araquanid, and they bring in Trevenant. They should be at back-to-back seed bombs here. I am going to shield up. It is a seed bomb. They throw the second, and I'm just going to let this go. I do tank a seed bomb here. I want to save the shield because I do not know what is in back. And it's a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. Build up, try and go for the bait, but they, interestingly enough, go straight Weather Ball. Weather Ball is going to be resistant, not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, and then I'm going to fire off the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam does go unshielded, but I do get that ever-important attack drop. Unfortunately, Ninetales is able to outpace me here. Tough call to make. I will shield last second because I want to be able to debuff their attack again. This is a triple spider theme team, but it is also a triple debuff theme team with the double lunge and the bubble beam. Galvantula able to reach another lunge, and now this Ninetales is going to be at -3. They're probably looking to switch out. They bank the energy. We farm down the Trevenant. We leave with the lunge. Galvantula easily winning CMP over Alolan Ninetales, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Galvantula into Altaria. This is a massive problem for the entire team, but I'd rather see it on the lead than anywhere else. So I'm going to stay in with Galvantula and start spamming out these discharges. Discharge number 1 does go unshielded. Altaria overfarming quite a bit. They throw on poor timing, and I'm able to get through an extra Volt Switch. This should allow me to undertap and reach another discharge, and I'm hoping they decide to let it through. That would be taking out the Altaria. No such luck, and they do commit the shield. I save switch Ariados. Ariados incredibly spammy, and we reach the Cross Poison. Cross Poison barely does not take out Altaria, and my opponent brings in Shadow Swampert. This is not a bad situation to be the Ariados whatsoever, as we've seen. Lunge is going to do big damage, and thanks to the debuff, Hydro Cannon is not going to be enough to KO. Hydro Cannon will not KO. I'm going to threaten another lunge to force them to throw, which is perfect. I just didn't want them farming me down. They go for the Hydro Cannon, and in comes Araquanid. I'm worried they might try and go for an Earthquake, so I'm going to farm up a bunch, switch, and catch onto the Galvantula. This will be taking out Galvantula, but it keeps my Araquanid very healthy. Araquanid farms down. I do have to be mindful of the Altaria in the back, and the final Pokemon is Ferrothorn. Altaria is either very close to a move or has a move. Able to land the Bug Buzz, farming up. Opponent tries to bring in Altaria, but they get taken out by the Bug Bites. I should tank whatever they throw here. They go for a Mirror Shot, hoping for an attack drop. They don't get it, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Galvantula into another Altaria. We've seen how this lead plays out, and it's a pretty tough one. Galvantula will, of course, be able to outpace Altaria, but Altaria is quite tanky and is able to tank the discharge no problem, and then fire back with the Sky Attack. Galvantula, on the other hand, is very, very squishy, so I kind of have to shield everything. Able to reach a second discharge, I'm hoping that this Altaria will decide to let it through, but they do not. I throw an extra Volt Switch, bring in Ariados, and they're at another Sky Attack. I am going to shield this up, hoping I can get rid of the Altaria. They have Bastiodon in the back. I am quite sad, and I concede the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Galvantula into Galarian Stunfisk. This is an absolute nightmare lead. I'm going to stay in with Galv, but G-Fisk is able to outpace, and Rock Slide is going to do massive damage. I let it through. Rock Slide almost KOs the Galvantula, and I'm going to fire back with the Lunge. Lunge is, of course, going to get that attack drop, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage overall. G-Fisk goes for the farm down and allows me to reach a second lunge. This is pretty nice. This should get it to about half health. Unfortunately, G-Fisk is going to leave with a ton of energy, and then I'm going to bring in ARAQUANID. They're throwing their debuffed energy, which is honestly perfect for me. I need them to stay in because my only hope of taking out this G-Fisk is with ARAQUANID. They go for another Rock Slide, able to tank that as well. And unfortunately, I do lose CMP, so I'm going to have to tank a third Rock Slide. Thankfully, double debuffed and ARAQUANID is very tanky. I'm going to fire off the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam, I don't believe is quite enough to KO here, but ARAQUANID is able to farm down. And they have a Wigglytuff in the back. So they are weak to Ariados. I have to hope the back Pokemon is as well. I'll go for a last second Bubble Beam, lower the charm damage, and in comes Ariados. And they have a Scrafty in the back. This might actually be winnable. Going straight for the Lunge, as Lunge will get that ever important attack drop. And Scrafty is not really able to do a whole ton of damage to Ariados because his fast moves are going to be double resisted and now double debuffed. So you know what? I'm honestly going to let this go. And it's a power-up punch bait, an absolutely massive no-shield. And now I'm going to be able to debuff them yet again. They raise their attack, I'm lowering it right back down. I do have 2 shields, I kind of have to use them at some point. They do go for the foul play, I commit the shield, and back in comes Wigglytuff, but Ariados absolutely eats Charmers for breakfast, going for the cross poison, gets the shield, and gets the boost, and now we are even more in the driver's seat of this match. Ariados going for the cross poison, it KOs, and we get another boost. Ariados farming down the Scrafty, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Galvantula into Medicham. Fairly neutral lead overall, so I'm more than happy to stay in here. Gonna be going straight for the Lunge, but my opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Lunge onto Registeel. But honestly, this is absolutely perfect for me, as my only Registeel counter is this Galvantula, so I'm just going to stay in. I'm able to outpace the Registeel, land a Discharge, and since I already debuffed them, even though I'm not at full health, I should still be able to tank whatever they throw. They go for the Zap Cannon, I'm able to survive it, and I'm able to reach the second Discharge. This will KO if they let it through, and just like that, down goes Registeel. Back in comes Medicham, I bring in ARAQUANID, and I end up catching a move, and it ends up being an Ice Punch even better, and in the back they have a Azumarill. So at this point, I'm basically saving both shields for Ariados because Ariados should be able to sweep in the endgame. And also, ARAQUANID is very tanky, so even though they're throwing neutral play roughs and I'm throwing resisted bug buzzes, we're still doing about the same amount of damage. We get below half health, pretty close to the time that they get below half health as well. They go for the play rough, we tank that, Android Game Booster pops up again, you absolutely hate to see it. We're going for another Bug Buzz, this will get it quite low, and now it is Ariados time. Ariados is going to be able to outpace the Azumarill and going to be able to go for the Cross Poison. Cross Poison does get the shield, and at this point, I'm more scared about a Psychic from Medicham than anything, so I am going to let the move through from Azumarill. It is the Ice Beam, and back in comes Medicham, but we have an energy lead, and we have shield advantage. So things are looking pretty nice for us. Able to land the Lunge. Medicham will be spamming out these Ice Punches, but Ariados just straight up outpaces. I am not going to bait here. I'm just going to keep debuffing and debuffing and debuffing. Going for yet another Lunge. Able to grab the shield from Medicham, and Medicham is going to fire off another Ice Punch. But again, with that shield advantage, I still have a shield to use. I am going to be able to outpace the Medicham and go for the Lunge. Cross Poison probably KO'd there, but I wanted to guarantee the KO. Back in comes Azumarill. Azumarill will get taken out, and that is a good game. All in all, I had a ton of fun running the Triple Spider theme team. I saw entirely too many Galarian Stunfisk, which did make it tough, but I was still able to win more games than I lost, and for a team with this many shared weaknesses, I am pretty happy with that result. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.